So in the summer, Manchester United signed Matheus Cunha for approximately £65 million. But since then, he's only scored one goal, and he's actually only got one goal contribution. So does that mean he wasn't worth it? No, it doesn't. I'll tell you why. So the first thing that we have to consider is where Cunha is playing. He was signed as a left 10. This is why we signed him, because for Wolves, he was amazing in this position, and we thought if we brought him into the club and put him in this position here, it'd be phenomenal. But he's not actually really playing here, right? So far this season in the Premier League, let me check the numbers, he has started 8 matches, and only 3 of them have come in the left 10. So the other 5, he started as a striker. How do you expect him to hit the ground running when he is playing in a new club in a completely different position? He's playing out of position up front. Now, that's not a criticism of Ruben Amorim. Of course, we had problems. Sesko injury. Sesko not starting, not signing for the club quite as early as Cunha. But Cunha is literally playing in a different role. And I think he's doing an okay job there. We saw against Liverpool just how effective he was in this position. He was absolutely fantastic. And that's because in moments, the role can work for him. And that's amazing for Ruben Amorim to have that. To have a player of this quality who can play left 10, can play up front, could probably play right 10 as well, is amazing. From this position, he can drop in. He can be an extra man in midfield. He can be an extra number. But in terms of directly contributing to attacks, in terms of scoring goals, getting assists, and helping the team in the final third, you're going to get less from Cunha here. And that's because when he receives the ball as a striker, he's playing with his back to goal. So he can't drive, he can't carry. We'll see shortly. This is where he's strong, right? When he can pick the ball up and drive at people and carry it and take people on. He can't do that from here. So you're taking away probably his biggest strength. No wonder he's struggling to contribute. Whereas when you play him on the left side, he receives with his body a little bit more open, right? It's on the half turn, which means he can quickly get the ball, he can quickly face forward, and then he can drive into that space like he loves to do. It's very, very obvious to see the difference, right? Let's put Cunha over here and let's quickly grab an arrow. When Cunha receives the ball, the pressure is coming from behind, so Cunha's first touch has to go that way, right? As the ball comes in, Cunha's first touch goes that way. Whereas if Cunha receives here and the pressure is inside, then Cunha's first touch as the ball comes across like this is going to be that way. Can you see the difference between the two arrows? That's why Cunha's not necessarily doing amazing, because he's out of position. Now again, I just want to make it clear, I'm not blaming Ruben Amorim for this. He can't help the fact that we have a slightly weak squad in terms of depth in the striker position. We don't have a lot of strikers that he trusts, so sometimes Cunha has to move into a different position. However, when he has played left 10, when he has started in this position, I think he's been good. I think he's been very good for Manchester United. Do I think he can do better? Absolutely. But I think tactically he has been very useful for what we're trying to do, because he brings us a nice blend and a nice balance. We know that when Cunha plays on the left, he likes to come a little bit deeper towards the ball to get the ball on the half turn, as we discussed. Mbumo on the other side likes to play higher. That's a nice balance, one coming towards the ball, one running away from it. You can see that in the average positions. Cunha on the left, just that little bit deeper than Brian Mbumo on the right. We also know that when Cunha drops into these positions, he isn't just an extra player, he's actually like a very useful player. He can do a really good job. And I think something he does particularly well is he sort of drops the ball off onto his right foot before then switching to the far side. And United are a team that have tried to use a lot of switches this season. Cunha can facilitate that. Whether that's up front or left 10, he can do it from both positions. And I think he's done it really well for United. We look to use those wide areas as quickly as possible. If you look across the Manchester United starting 11, your eyes are caught by Mbumo and Ahmad. The fact that we've got 2 right wingers on the same side, they sort of catch your attention. And when we've then got a player as good as Cunha, who can find them regularly, that's fun, that's exciting, that's a good blend between the two. The fact that Cunha can drop and do that, to then give these guys the ball, is a good thing, and I think Cunha's done that very well. The other thing he does quite well is, because he's right-footed, he allows us back inside the pitch. And this was a problem last season, right? Last season we got stuck out wide a lot. How many times did we talk about the horseshoe of doom, where we'd pass round, and we'd pass round, and we'd pass round, and you get the idea, we'd just keep passing round. Cunha being right-footed, being brave, being bold, having a real character, a confidence and a swagger, his right foot allows us back inside. He does at times try to combine with the striker, to try and combine with Mbumo. And I think that makes us a better team. Now, of course, the really great thing about Cunha when he plays in this position is that he can carry the ball. And we've seen that from literally day one, his ability to pick up the ball and carry the team forward. He is a territory machine. So often these days we talk about finding a way through a block. We talk about stubborn defences, we talk about progressive passes, we talk about line splitting passes and things like that. Sometimes all you need though is a footballer with an unbelievable self-confidence and also an unbelievable ability to pick the ball up and just literally like grab the whole team, put them on his back and just carry them 30 yards up the pitch. Cunha is fantastic at carrying the ball, and whilst some parts of his game need to develop, whilst certain parts of his game need more time to adjust at United, his carrying doesn't. He's fantastic at it. He is so good at dragging the team forward. His stats this season have been very, very impressive with regards to driving United up the pitch. It's something that I think he's done fantastically well, and it's something we didn't have last season. Garnacho, for example, was a winger, but he didn't carry the ball in the same way. He didn't drive. It always felt like he was running forward with the ball rather than driving forward with the ball. There is a difference. There's a power. There's an upper body strength that Cunha possesses, the ability to hold off defenders in a way that our players just couldn't last season. Cunha has without doubt been an upgrade in this position. I think at times he carries attacks. He creates attacks that wouldn't exist without him. He takes positions where it's kind of flat and slow, and suddenly his ability to drive turns it into an attacking moment. That's why he's so good for United, even whilst he's still adapting. He probably, at times, just needs to release a little bit earlier. There's been a couple of times, particularly the last 2 weeks, where he just holds on to the ball a little bit too long, where he wants a few too many touches, and that's when the opposition can nick in. But I think if he can find that balance, it's still very obvious Cunha's going to be amazing at driving us forward. Now, whilst Cunha has done brilliantly so far at Manchester United, I still think there are things that he can do a lot better. Yes, the system at times holds him back when he's forced to play up front, but generally speaking, overall, I think we can demand more from Cunha. He's made a good start, but he can do better. He did cost £65 million, and when you spend that much on a player, you expect, like, a seriously good player. Cunha can be that, but right now there are things he needs to do more of. As we said there, releasing the ball is important. At times he's a little bit too greedy as a player. We discussed this when he signed. He's a maverick, he's the main character, he wants the ball, he wants to do things, he wants to win football matches, which are all great, but at times, someone else is in a better position than you. Cunha is actually in the top 10 for shots in the Premier League so far this season, which is good. It's great that he's carrying a threat and testing the goalkeeper, but sometimes, can you bring someone else into play? Can you slide the ball into Sesko more regularly, or release the ball to Mbeumo, or something like that? Cunha has to work on that. I think the other thing that I would actually expect from Cunha as well is better finishing. I think if he is making the decision that, yeah, I'm going to shoot here, he needs to score more. He's had a couple of half opportunities. I wouldn't say it's been clear cut yet, but when you sign, again, an expensive player, you expect even half chances to be very close to going in. And we haven't had that from Cunha, apart from the game against Brighton, which was a real glimpse of what he can do. He can be a game breaker. He can be a player that in any moment can pick the ball up anywhere and score a fantastic goal. Last season, he did it for Wolves for fun. He was amazing, to be honest, at dragging them into games with his ability to score out of nothing. We haven't really seen that at United yet. And perhaps that's part of the settling in period. I think it's the case for a lot of people, right? Mbeumo was the main man at Brentford, Cunha at Wolves. Well, now at United, you can't both be the main man, especially when we've got Bruno Fernandes as well. So that sort of sharing the load does play into how a player settles in at a new club. I think Cunha can do more with his end product. I think in the final third, he's almost overcomplicating it at times. Perhaps he's too determined to score. He wants a goal so badly that he's almost forcing it. At times, just lay the ball off to someone else and let someone else get the goal. Or, feed it into Mbeumo, who might give it to Sesko, whatever. And when you are shooting Cunha, I think the finishing just has to be a little bit better. Now, despite ending on a little bit of criticism, let's make one thing very, very clear. Cunha was a brilliant signing for Manchester United, and I am convinced, I am very, very sure he will turn out to be a very good player for United. I think he has made a good start. I don't think he's been scintillating. I don't think he's been on fire, but I don't think he's been bad either. I think he's settling in like humans do when they move to a new environment. I think he's playing pretty well. We've got to remember he is often playing out of position and will probably have to do so over the next few weeks due to Sesko's new injury. So it will be difficult for Cunha, but I think he's a good player. He's a player realistically in his prime years now. So I think my challenge to Cunha would be, even out of position, show us what you've got. Show that you can be that goal-scoring threat. Show us that you can carry the team up the pitch, but also bring others into the play. I think that's a task now for Cunha, to really click. It's time now to kick on. He's had his settling period. He's had a few months. Now he should be settled. Now let's take that game to the next level. And now we can see really why we spent so much money on him. I think already the glimpses are there. He does certain things over 90 minutes that sort of get you off your seat and you think, wow, we've got a serious player here. Let's do that more regularly. I think that's the task now for Cunha, but also for Amorim, to make sure that he is getting Cunha into the positions, into the moments, into the situations where he can do that stuff, where he can be the Cunha that we want him to be, right? Where he can be that maverick that scores goals and win matches for United. That's what we want him to be. And I think now is the time for him to click and become that with the rest of the forwards as well. So yes, I believe that is everything that I wanted to discuss for today's video. So we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, and get your notifications on. So basically you never miss an upload in the future. But apart from that, we are finished. So thank you for watching. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.